May I ask one
Yes.
more quick one? On, I think it was last week's weekly CD, you actually said timing is none of your business. And
How rude of us.
Pardon me, I was in my head.
Timing is none of your business in the sense that if you can take timing out of the equation and just understand that there is a universal timing, here's what we mean. Alignment is what is everything. And when where you are is a perfect match to what you desire, it's happening now. And so if you're measuring how much time that takes, you're missing the point. If you're measuring how good you can feel right now, now you're on the point. So there are those who have desires that have been being held for them in vibrational escrow for a very long time, and they will die with them being unfulfilled, still being held for them in vibrational escrow, because they're so involved with noticing where they are that they are keeping a vibration active that's very far apart from the vibration of their desire. So timing is controlled by the vibrational alignment. So how long it will take you to achieve anything has nothing to do with anything, not one thing outside of you. It only has to do with how much time it takes you to find a way to release the resistance. And you can tell you're releasing resistance by finding thoughts that feel better. Do you have something that do we have time for this?
I think the question I had around that was you have answered. Essentially, my thought about it was that timing is an automatic preference too, and that it's in vibrational escrow, and it needs to be allowed. Timing just needs to be allowed like everything else.
Well, you see, when you're saying things like that, you really are making peace with things. You're saying all things in good time, and when it feels like the next logical step, it will unfold. But just understand that if there is something that you want, and you really want it, and it hasn't happened yet, and you are more often noticing that it hasn't happened and feeling uncomfortable that it hasn't happened than you are looking forward to it happening, then you can hold yourself for a long period of time out of vibrational alignment. As we're moving forward here today with people who have things that they want and have wanted for a while that aren't coming, we'll demonstrate how to find softer and softer, better feeling ways of looking at it. And even if you are listening in, you may very well feel your own resistance beginning to dissipate as you begin to move up the emotional scale. Because this gathering is about closing that gap. And closing that gap is what equals the timing. But we don't want you to be thinking about closing that gap in terms of time. We want you to think about closing that gap in terms of, oh, this feels better and this feels better. Because it's what we were getting at earlier today. There is always going to be something more that you want that is unfulfilled. And so you've just got to get used to that. You've just got to say, I'm an eternal being on the leading edge of thought, and I'm going to keep hatching new ideas. There's always going to be something I want that is not yet manifested. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. And when you get into that place of knowing that it's not a question of whether it will come or not, it's not if it will happen, it must happen. It is law that it happen when you become in vibrational alignment with it. The question is, when will it happen? That's why we're talking about time. When will it happen? And we say, well, the when is completely up to you. How long is it going to take you to feel good about where you are in relationship to what you want? Make peace with where you are. Find a way of softening your discord or discomfort. And when that discord and discomfort goes away, the resistance goes away. And when the resistance goes away, you've only got one signal going. And when you've got one signal going, you're going to lock right on, you see. And you can feel it when you start approaching that brink. You begin to feel the current coming together. You begin to feel the energy moving. If you are in the range of enthusiasm, you begin to feel more passionate. You begin to feel, Esther will say, I can feel that we're right on the brink of something. I can feel it by the way the energy is moving. Or she'll say, I can feel that there's something that I want out there and I'm nowhere near it. I can feel the discord in that. You are so aware of the vibration within your being that it is just as effective as having your hands in that clay. In other words, it feels just that much in your control. You get so you can just move a thought here and move a thought here and move a thought here, and oh, that feels a little better, and that feels a little better than that, and oh, that doesn't feel so good. You can actually chart where you are on the emotional scale. So if you are in despair and you find an angry thought, isn't that angry thought an improvement? Wouldn't you rather be angry any time than fearful or depressed? And so as you reach for the thought that feels better, that release of resistance is indicated to you by that feeling of relief. And so there is relief. Moving into anger, what a breath of fresh air anger can be from fear or despair. And frustration, oh, there's even more relief. Moving into hopefulness, there's even more relief. Moving into believing, there's even more relief. And what we know is that there is no end to the possibility of relief. Even from the non-physical realm, we can find even more allowing thoughts, you see. And so when you realize that you have the ability to continue to release resistance, and that that's what the work is, it has always been the work of the mind. The manifestations come to reflect what the work you are doing with your mind is, but it has always been the work of the mind. But we don't want you to think too hard. It's why for a while we called this gathering the science of deliberate creation. And people got so worried about it. They worried about their thoughts. They tried to suck them back. Cancel, cancel, they would say. They were afraid that they were thinking a thought that the universe would get hold of and then manifest. And so we began calling this the art of allowing, because it puts it more in the place where you can recognize by the way you feel whether you are allowing yourself vibrational alignment or not. Very good. You'll hear much more as we are moving forward.
Okay. Thank you.
Good time for a segment of refreshment. We are complete. We know it must be annoying for us to keep pointing out something that you cannot translate with your physical senses. And what we want you to do is to try to be satisfied with the knowledge that if I can feel it, that then I will soon see it. You've just got to find some way of soothing yourself, that since I can feel it, therefore it must be. And if you can accomplish that, the receptive mode just means you're receiving something. So you could be in the receptive mode of what your vortex is offering up or what vulnerability offers. In other words, you're always in the receptive mode. So if you just start there by acknowledging that whatever is occurring to you, whatever thoughts are coming to you, whatever manifestations are happening, they are happening in direct relationship with whatever receptive mode you're in. An easier way of hearing it is whatever mood you're in. So that's elementary, isn't it? In other words, you understand that. You all do, don't you? You understand that. So now let's add another factor to that. And let's call that factor momentum. And let's talk about why momentum happens. Momentum happens because you give your attention to something. You give your attention to something, and then something manifests, and then you give your attention to something and something manifests, and you give your attention to something and something manifests. You have it so good because you're out here on the manifesting edge. You're out here on the edge where whatever you've got going on is showing itself to you moment by moment by moment by moment by moment. You have no excuse to be oblivious about what your vibrational countenance is, because the things that are manifesting around you are evidence of what it is. If you are aware of the way you feel, and you sort of kind of like that feeling, so you focus there, it will become more and more and more and more and more. You could take any thought of minor importance and you could focus on it and bring it to a place of momentous importance, and it would manifest in this day. Every single one of you could do that with anything that is important to you. This is the power of the universe that you've got working with you. This is the power of the focus of source energy that you've got working with you. You have tools at your fingertips. You have the energy that creates worlds flowing through you, you see. You can be or do or have anything, but you've got to break it down in some way that you know that you are doing it. So we would suggest that you pick something. That you pick something that is of some importance to you, and you decide that you're going to focus on it until you can show yourself in one day. You can show yourself how the momentum gathers around that subject in one day. From the point of just being able to talk about it to the point of feeling fairly good feeling emotion about it, to the point of really feeling excitement about it, to the point of it manifesting in one day. You can do that. You can do that.
And you do it all the time. That's what's so funny about this conversation. You do those things all the time. You just don't know that you're doing them. And so you don't give yourself the credit of focus that you deserve to give yourself the credit of focus. Spend more time in the vortex. What do you think's in there anyway? It's really funny. Here's this vortex, all ripe and ready and really eager. Well, we are the eager ones to show it to you. And you're over there saying, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. And we say, that's why. That's why. You got to look where it is and feel like it feels. So pick any subject. Look where you think it might be. If you feel that something is lost where you stand, and you believe us at all that there is a vibrational version of you, then look in the direction of this vibrational you and describe it to us. If you feel lost, what does found feel like? If you feel confused, what does clarity feel like? If you feel poor, what does richer feel like? In other words, you got to look where you think you are. So look there and describe that for just a moment and stop the other. I've been doing this. How do I get the money out of the vortex and into the bank? When does it come to me? But you see, you can't talk about why the drought is unpleasant and attract the rain. You can't talk about what's missing and allow what's missing to be fulfilled. You've got to find a way to look at until you allow yourself. You see, you don't have to build the momentum in the vortex. The momentum is already built. You ask and the momentum is already gathered and it's huge and ready for you to receive it. Is it too big for you to receive it? No, not at all. Could you get ready to receive it? Yes. Are you ready right now? No. Could you get ready? Yes. Are you ready now? No. Could you get ready? Are you ready? No. Do you want to get ready? Yes. You want to get ready? So, do you believe that there is a vibrational version of things that you want?
Yes.
And do you think that you could find any words for them, or is it just a big, murky mess of a mist of little pieces of things that you've thrown into it? Or do you think there's anything in that that you could define and see? It isn't easy to go there because you don't have the momentum, but we promise you the momentum will come fast. You see, it's easy to tell the other story because that momentum's there. It's easy to say all of those things, but it's not how it needs to be. What's in your vortex that you would like to define? We just want you to find some simple thing that's over there, like a state of clarity or any old thing. What's there that you want? What's there that's missing? What's found that you feel lost from? What's over there that isn't over here? What's over there that you want? What's over there? What's out there? What's up there? What is it that you want? What do you want that you don't have? Pick something that you feel close to. So when you say, I want cars, or I want everything, and you say, how? Just change that one question to why. Because the why will hold you in the momentum of your desire longer. The how almost every time will take you out of it. Whenever you ask yourself for an answer that you don't have, you lose your connection. But when you ask a question that leads you further in the momentum of your desire, it allows the momentum of the desire to go further. Did you hear that?